A yogi, spiritual master, and humanitarian, Sadhguru works tirelessly towards the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being of all.
Jananam sukadam maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam kalavashadiha sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Good morning, everyone. I said good morning.
Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. I think that beautiful sonorous chant was just what I needed to find a center, to be able to be in sensible conversation with you over the next 45 minutes or so. At this moment, I can't tell you, there's so many emotions running through me. The first one is a bursting curiosity to hear you speak. For the last 15 days, I have heard so many of your videos and heard so much perspective of yours that I'm absolutely fascinated by the knowledge, the treasure trove of knowledge you have. I'm also at the same time extremely in awe of the mystique that you seem to have. The kind of following amongst the youth, it's something I've never seen before.
I'm the real Indian terrain.
That is real privilege, Sadhguru. For all those from Indian terrain, the huge contingent, I don't think there could be a bigger compliment to any of you.
They didn't know about it.
I think they know it now, Guru Sadhguru. And the last emotion running through me is I'm a little intimidated because I've heard you say so often that when you look at a person, you know his past, his present, and his future. But I know you're the keeper of many secrets, Sadhguru, and I hope mine will remain with you. I'm very nervous about that.
I'm ready for the interrogation.
Having said that, Sadhguru, let me just at the outset express the immense gratitude of the Madras Management Association. You have fulfilled a wish list, number one on the wish list of the MMA, which has endured for many years. I was president a few years ago, and you were always the first target. Anytime annual convention, who would be the guest of honor? Shri Jaggi Vasudev. And invariably, the schedules wouldn't work. I guess there's a cosmic alignment of time and opportunity. I must thank Raju for having brought you here finally. So very, very grateful, Sadhguru. And personally, it's a great privilege to be sitting with you and having this conversation. So over the next, just for the benefit of all here, I'm not going to ask questions specific to economic resurgence, Sadhguru. I think he had the body of knowledge, what I have seen him speak covers everything possible you need for resurgence. So I'm going to keep my conversation broadly about the immense knowledge that he has, which I think is so relevant, so extremely important to each one of us. And and he can just interweave any element which he thinks is important for our country to really find the resurgence we are talking about. Sadhguru, let me first tell you, and I want to know this, seeing all these videos of yours with remarkable celebrities, Shekhar Kapoor, Juhi Chawla, Mr. Kamath, Anupam Kher, in the World Economic Forum, wherever you've gone, you come across really cool You look so cool, so composed, so poised.
I thought it was hot.
You're cool on the outside and hot on the inside, Sadhguru, and that's what I can see. Can you tell us what is it that emanates this cool persona?
Anyway, the language has gone through a certain amount of transformation. In 60s and 70s, to describe the same quality, we used to say, oh, he's hot. Now they say he's cool. Probably the impact of global warming is changing our language. So, what is it? Well, let's come down to something very mechanical. If any machine has to work with a certain level of efficiency, or what you refer to as efficiency in anything that is working. Now, a simple air conditioner, look at the amount of noise it's making. So the technology improving means one day there'll be an air conditioner that you will not notice, but it'll just do what it has to do. It's supposed to just cool the hall, but it is making bad music.
Right.
So this is happening with human beings. They're supposed to do one thing, but so many other things are happening with them.
True.
So they want to handle one issue on the outside, but they themselves are one big issue. So this is one thing I did with myself, that I am never an issue.
Right.
I'm not an issue either in my life or in anybody's life. So because I'm not an issue, whatever outside issues, to the best of ability and time that it allows, we handle. When I was talking about machines and being efficient within, because whatever aspirations, business or otherwise you have, essentially is about functioning at a higher level than you're functioning right now. All the technology talk that was going about right now, technology means just this. What we are already doing, we want to enhance it. Every tool that we created, every machine that we built is only about enhancing our existing capabilities. See, now we can speak. Because we can speak, we made up a microphone so that we can speak clearly and loudly. Then we made up a telephone and all kinds of phones, because we can see all kinds of scopes. So essentially, every tool, every machine, whatever we create is only to enhance our already existing faculties to different dimensions. So this enhancement can happen. It's happening to a large number of people because of technological growth. But this was not new to us. By turning inward, we could enhance ourselves immensely. But that would need some work. Technology means somebody else will do it for you. You don't know how your cell phone really works, all right?
Right.
You just have to learn to use it. With the inner dimension, you'll have to do it, nobody else will do it for you. But you can lose your cell phone. You can't lose this.
True.
The smartest thing about most people is just their phone.
Very true. Very true, Guru.
Without the phone, they're lost. I happened to be in Paris some time ago, and we happened to travel in the public, the tube or the train, the local train. And I found that nobody was laughing or smiling at each other, everybody looking down and staring at the floor of the train. They won't look at you because it's improper to look at each other. So me and about 4 or 5 of our volunteers, we were there, we said, before we leave this country, we have to make this train load of people laugh.
Yeah.
So we did a few things. On the third day, we got everybody laughing, the whole compartment was laughing out. Okay. So then I'm leaving the country and I came to the Deagle airport, which is one of the worst airports on the planet. security. French police is, they're special. So he asked me in his bad English, any liquids? I said like this. He got more irritated with me. Then when I was just putting my bags into the the X-ray machine, he said, computer? I said like this. So he burst out laughing. Why I'm saying this is, what you call as efficiency, you need to understand both on the cosmic level, on the level of the planetary systems, on the level of the individual person, or whether it's an ant or an elephant. Today, modern science is beginning to talk about it, the yogic science has been talking about it forever, is the fundamental design, whether it's an atom or the whole cosmos, the fundamental design is same.
Right.
It's only the complexity and sophistication is improving. So what you call as technology, fundamental science has not changed.
Right.
Only the complexity and sophistication of arrangement is changing. The complexity and sophistication of your own existence, you can rearrange in so many ways from one person to another. One is more sophisticated than the other, simply because he's arranged a few things little better, isn't it?
Absolutely, Sadhguru, that's…
So how smoothly something functions, on physical level, it is a question of geometric perfection.
Right.
The whole physical existence is a certain type of geometry. If the geometry is not right, whatever is not geometrically correct will collapse by itself. Whatever is geometrically correct, only that will exist and continue in the universe. Right now, for example, if you take the solar system, it is keeping its beat of going around the sun, all these planets, because they're geometrically in a correct pattern. If you disturb them a bit, it's finished. The whole thing will collapse. The same is true with you. The same is true with this piece of life. If this is geometrically in a correct state, its existence will be smooth. Its existence will not be a struggle of any kind. To sit here, it's perfectly easy. Because I'm at ease, you say I'm cool.
Absolutely.
That's your word, being at ease. It's just that you bring something to a certain state of geometrical perfection, everything is at ease. You check my pulse rate, I've just had breakfast and come and I'm speaking, it's somewhere around 55 probably right now. If I was hungry and I just sit quietly, it will settle down below 40. Because the geometry is correct. Because it's correct, there is least amount of friction. Because there is least amount of friction, activity or whatever else you do happens with least amount of friction, that means with least amount of effort. If you… what is the big difference between your ambassador car and a BMW that you're driving today? Just geometric perfection.
Perfect.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
If there is no… you had to buy a new… I remember when we used to do our own engines when I was riding motorcycles, we buy a brand new Yazdi motorcycle and we dismantle the whole engine. And we called it blueprinting, we had to realign the whole engine before we rode because we want to ride it in a certain way.
Right.
The standard stock engine would never ride like that. But today you buy it off the showroom and just go away. Simply geometric perfection which has made the difference, isn't it?
Absolutely, sir.
The same thing goes with you, the whole system of yoga is to rearrange your system, your genetics, your so many other things might have given you various levels of distortions. So if you do a little bit of work with yourself, you arrive at a certain level of geometric perfection, physiologically, psychologically, energy-wise, to a certain level of perfection where this functions with ease. That means you are never issue. There are issues in the world, depending upon our interest and time, we will do whatever we can.
It's wonderful, wonderful, Sadhguru. And for those of you who have not seen a video talking about geometric perfection and how it makes him so cool, which is he's at ease, I saw a video of Sadhguru with one of his students who's an American race driver. He drives the fastest cars in the world, and I saw this video where Sadhguru actually drove his car with the driver in the passenger seat. And at the end of the race, the Sadhguru's pulse rate was much lower. His heartbeat, his blood pressure was even more normal than the race car driver who does it every day. And from what I learned in the video, Sadhguru, that was the first time you were driving that beast of a car as you described it in that video. So geometric perfection on the inside is what I guess we all need. Brings me to the next question, Sadhguru. I have been in the business of building an apparel brand for many years, and I have yet to get it even remotely right. This time, as when my organization came to know that there was this morning when I was going to be in conversation with you, I saw such a clamor for executives from my company wanting to come and be here this morning that something struck me as remarkable. That age group of 25 to 35, which is the youth which you talk about embracing for this nation's resurgence, the perfect target audience has been motivated so much, and something I witnessed in my own organization. Brings me to the question, Sadhguru, please explain to me. When I see you perfectly attired, your designer... Indian terrain. Yeah.
I'm the only one in the hall except the ladies. Indian.
Absolute, and it's, you carry it off with so much elan. There is a brand of the foundation, and there is a brand which is the Sadhguru. And I'm sure that it is, and I would like to know, is it a happy coincidence or by deliberate design that you know who you have to attract, you know who you have to embrace if this country is to change, and this persona is important to make them part of your vision or the cosmic vision as you call it. Please help us understand, how do we arrive at this?
I never use the terminology, cosmic vision. I'm not targeting any particular group of people. We're doing programs and events for the highest level of corporate, academic, scientific community. We're doing programs, almost 65–70% of our work is in rural India. We spend almost 10 to 15% of our time, resource and energy in the prisons of the world.
Wow.
So, what's the relationship between a policeman like you and the man who's a convict in the prison? It's just that both of you happen to be human.
Or sometimes the public thinks the policeman needs to be behind the bars.
I'm not interested in people's opinions, because I've never held an opinion about anybody.
Right.
I may be living with somebody for 25 years, but I've never held them to my opinion. I'm willing to look at them. Every time I look at them fresh. Never ever carried an opinion about anybody.
Wonderful, Sadhguru.
So, I don't value anybody's opinion either because I've never given myself a right to hold an opinion on somebody. So, the important thing is whether he's a criminal or a policeman or a politician or a corporate person or a tribal woman, essentially they are human. My interest is human beings. Because when you come as a human being, you have come with the possibility that other creatures on this planet do not carry. Every other creature on this planet, for them, nature has drawn two lines. Within those two lines, they must live and go. Once you come as a human being, there is only a bottom line, the top line is gone. So the struggle of the human being is, he is not able to grapple with the freedom that the nature has given. See, people go about transmitting that people are struggling with their bondages. No, they're struggling with their freedom. They are trying to create a comfortable bondage within which they can live. At every point in their life, they create a bondage and within some time, they realize it's a different kind of torture. And from one torture to another torture, they keep moving. But what they're struggling essentially is with their freedom, they don't know how to deal with it. See, if a tiger is born, let's say a tiger is born, a tiger is not sitting and wondering how to become a good tiger.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Right.
If he eats well, he becomes a good tiger. All he has to do is find enough food and eat well. But once you come as a human being, see how many things you have to do to what you consider as a good human being, forget about others. And how much ever you do, whatever you might have done with your life, you still do not know where you stand by yourself. In comparison to another person, you can say, oh, I'm better than this person. By yourself, you don't know where you stand. When you just about think you're doing well, somebody will come by and say you're no good.
Right.
Because what is a perfect earthworm, we know. What is a perfect tiger, we know. What is a perfect mango tree, we know. What is a perfect elephant, we know. What is a perfect human being, you do not know. Because there is no top line, it's a limitless possibility. Because it's a limitless possibility, people are trying to create a comfort zone of limitation, but no human being is ever comfortable with his limitations. He always wants to be something more than who he is. If that happens, he wants to be something more and something more and something more. So human struggle is with their freedom, not with their bondage. And that's a tragedy. If you're struggling with your bondage, there's a solution, liberation. But if you're struggling with your freedom, what's the solution? Bondage is a solution. People are trying to find bondage as a solution and it's not worked and it's not worked. You see, as people become more and more successful, generally they're becoming more and more joyless.
True,
Yes.
true, Sadhguru.
Unfortunately. So you're sending out a message to the world, success is suffering, which is a very bad message.
True.
If you keep doing it, the next generation will not seek success. Any society which does not seek success is a wash-away generation. It's down the drain.
Right.
Because success is the sweetest thing in human life. It's a small thing or a big thing, it doesn't matter. Whether you do a little thing or you do a great thing, you want it to be successful, isn't it? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
However small the effort is, or however big it is, you want what you do to be successful. If you as much as blow your nose into a tissue paper and want to throw it into the bin, you want it to go in, not out.
Absolutely.
Yes or no? No? Yes. That's how important success is. But successful people in the world are sending out a message, success is suffering.
Right.
It's a dangerous message. This happened in 60s in United States. The successful people were so straight-jacketed and you could barely see a smile on their face ever. The youth said, what is the point living like this? So they thought smoking pot on the street side is a better thing than working for your success.
Right.
Because at least we are happy. That's the argument. And you can't beat that argument because what's really the point anyway?
Exactly.
What's really the point? Because all this is in pursuit of human well-being. And that's one thing that's been forgotten. The first time, probably in 2004, I think it's 2004 or 5, I was in the economic forum. A few people saw me and they were almost resentful. So, two of them came up to me and they said, what is a mystic doing in an economic summit? What are you doing here? I looked at them and said, what do you do? He said, I'm the CEO of a computer hardware company. We are the second largest manufacturers of computers on the planet. Well, it got taken over by the Chinese after a year or so. We are the second largest manufacturers of computers. What are you doing here? I said, see, whether you're manufacturing a computer or a safety pin or a spacecraft, doesn't matter what you're doing, the essential purpose of all this activity is human well-being. The fundamental business is human well-being, and that's my business too. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Everything that you're doing is essentially human well-being, isn't it? You might have forgotten on the way in the process of doing it, you might have forgotten, but essentially every activity, whatever you're doing, whether you're making a bicycle or a spacecraft, still it's about human well-being, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So once we forget that, and if the activity that you're not doing is not even bringing well-being to you, maybe you're in an expensive suit, maybe you're driving an expensive car, but well-being will not happen because of what you… I'm sorry, your textiles, I'm sorry. Well-being will not happen to you because of what you wear or what kind of car you drive or what kind of home you live in. You are well only when you're truly joyful within you, isn't it? That's the time when you feel well. When your insides are really pleasant, that's when you're well. If your body becomes pleasant, we call this health.
Right.
If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotion becomes pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call it success.
Fantastic.
Only to make the surroundings pleasant, you need the cooperation of many people, many forces involved. In creating external pleasantness, you need the cooperation of many forces or you need a certain skill to organize those things. But all the other aspects of pleasantness is entirely you and you alone. At least that much everybody should do if they want to be successful. This must be pleasant. Rest, we do according to our capabilities. Each human being is capable in a different way. How much pleasantness you can create outside is subject to capability, time, inclination, or the time of history in which we are, the segment of time we are occupying, all these things. But this much is clear, for you to be a pleasant and wonderful human being, there is no time. It doesn't matter you were born 1,000 years ago or today or 1,000 years later, you can be pleasant within yourself. External pleasantness is subject to various realities. We may manage it in a large way or we may manage it in a small way. But if you and me are pleasant within ourselves, what is the problem with the external situation? It's very simple to manage. So that's all the business is, don't make too much out of it.
Very true. Sadhguru, that sort of brings me to ask you and to understand again, seeing your video, which you call the majestic chaos which happened to you sitting on the Chamundi Hills many years ago and what you experienced. From that moment to today, as I followed your videos and in a sense a vignette of your life, I see… what I see as a person who doesn't know enough perhaps, Sadhguru, is a fantastic, astonishing life journey. You have built a fantastic organization called Isha. You have hundreds of thousands of people who follow what you say and revere you for your teachings. Your lifestyle is so accomplished, is what every entrepreneur would want it to be, driving fast cars, you're in a helicopter, you play golf. It is the trappings of a successful business person. But yet you seem so… you don't seem to be in it. These are things you do, and these are things which we all pursue and perhaps do, But there is a tremendous difference in the way you have embraced it, or what part of your life is it? And whereas we just make it the end all of what we strive for, can you help us understand what is economic pursuit?
No, I'm not driving fast cars, flying helicopters all the time. Somewhere once in a year or so, when I drove something, or when I rode a motorcycle here and there, somebody videographs it and plays it every day. It looks like I'm doing this on a daily basis because that's what excites them.
Exactly.
Now, the thing is just this. What we do in the world should not be about us, because what we do in the world should be relevant to the situations in which we exist. So whatever I do in the world is never about me, because I don't have to do anything. If I close my eyes and sit, I'm done. I can sit here till I fall dead. There's really no need to do anything. If I close my eyes, finish, the world is gone for me. See, this is very simple. Fundamental things have not happened to people and they made it very big. The camera is functioning. If you put a lens cap on it, it cannot see anymore. It does not see any light or any image. So what you call as your eyelids are like a lens cap. Once you put it on, you should not see anything. But most human beings on the planet, if they close their eyes, a whole… not one world, 25 worlds will happen at the same time. Madness will go on.
Right.
Because things have not been taken charge of, in the sense, see, you're sitting with the iPad, missing the eye.
True. Very true, well said, Sadhguru.
You really padded up for life.
Very true.
Padding up for life means you don't want life to hit you. What I'm asking you is, have you come here in this life to experience life or to avoid life?
To experience life, Sadhguru.
Experience life.
Absolutely.
But right now you just see how many strategies you have as to how to avoid life.
Right.
Yes.
True.
First of all, if I utter the word life, for most people, they think about their work, their family, their car, their house and their whatever paraphernalia. No, these are all accessories to life. If you were here 200 years ago, your idea of accessory to life is to have a nice buffalo in your house.
Right.
Maybe now it is a BMW or a Bentley, but it used to be a buffalo at one time. Yes or no? So accessories change according to the times in which we exist and where we are, all these things. This doesn't make life, these are just accessories. Only if life is so… what you call as life is within you, it's you. You are life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But that dimension of life has never been touched. People are just busy with accessories. When I say accessories, I'm not only talking about your home, car and clothing, I'm even talking about your body and your mind. Because this also you gathered, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What you call as my body and what you call as my mind, you gathered over a period of time. Everything that you gather, at the most, temporarily you can claim it is mine. You cannot say it's me, it's just silly, isn't it? So because this one fundamental fact has not been grasped experientially, what is you and what is not you is not clear to you. This whole struggle with everything is going on. Give whatever you want to people, they're struggling with it.
True.
If they're poor, they're struggling or suffering their poverty. You make them rich, they suffer the taxes. If they're uneducated, they suffer that. You send them to school, eternal suffering.
True.
They're not married, they suffer that. You get them married, I won't say anything. No children, they suffer that. Give them children daily suffering.
True.
So what is it that people are not suffering? Every aspect of life, if you suffer, naturally you'll pad up with an iPad.
True.
iPad means I've padded up for life.